You have just arrived in Dotonbori. The steam is rising, the neon is buzzing, and it feels like the whole city is eating at once. You step up to a stall, confident. You point to the tray and drop the perfect, textbook standard Japanese phrase you practiced on the flight over. The vendor smiles, hands you the food, and fires back 3 cheerful syllables. Okini. It means thank you, and it is the first thing Osaka teaches you that your textbook never did. Standard Japanese will absolutely get your food paid for and point you to the nearest subway, but this city's identity is built on food, humor, and a direct social style. To access that, you must meet Osaka on its own frequency. 99% of textbooks and courses teach Standard Japanese. It is the broadcast language you hear on NHK. It is perfectly correct, but down here on the street, it is not the operating language. This table shows the vocabulary gap. In Tokyo, you say arigato. In Osaka, it's okini. The classroom's totemo is mecha at a local stall. Grammar shifts, too. Standard Japanese negates verbs with a nai sound. Osaka uses hen, so wakaranai becomes wakara-hen. Then there is pitch accent. Japanese relies on high and low syllables, and Osaka's melody is often inverted from Tokyo's. The words you spent months memorizing will literally sound different from what you practiced. Arriving blind to these differences leaves plenty of learners feeling alienated. To avoid that, you need to calculate exactly how much local language you actually require before you land. Let's look at an effort versus impact chart to see your options. On the bottom axis, we have your hours of study. On the side axis, how much of the city you can access. We'll start right here at 0 words. With absolutely 0 study, you can still navigate the entire transit network. The English signage is clear, and mapping apps work flawlessly. Major corridors like Shinsaibashi and Namba process thousands of international visitors a day. They have picture menus and staff who are completely fine handling your transactions in English. The trade-off is that the city becomes much smaller. You miss the local neighborhoods, the chatty vendors, and the genuine exchanges. You are navigating the tourist layer, not the actual city underneath. If you are passing through for a short eating binge, 0 words is a functional strategy, but it actively prevents you from experiencing the city's true character. Now, watch what happens to your access when you spend just an hour learning 8 to 10 core local phrases. Your effort barely moves, but your city access shoots straight up. Osakans respond to any genuine attempt with warmth. Dropping mecha umai when the food is good turns a transaction into a conversation about the ingredients. This strategy yields a massive return at places like Kuromon Ichiba Market. Asking "Nambo desu ka?" at a stall signals you are paying attention, not just passing through. It is even more effective in retro neighborhoods like Shinsekai, where older shop owners still use maido as a standard greeting. The limitation here is comprehension. You can confidently initiate an interaction, but you likely won't understand the rapid-fire response you get back. Even so, training a couple hours of prep for better hospitality and genuine reactions is mathematically the highest return on time of any travel preparation. Let's plot out 3 to 6 months of standard textbook study. Notice how far to the right we move for effort, while the street-level access actually dips surprisingly low. If you are moving here to work, you absolutely need this baseline. You cannot rent an apartment or navigate the ward office using 8 words of street slang. But intermediate learners often fall into a trap. Because your ear is strictly calibrated to the formal speech of Tokyo, when you land in Osaka, the locals sound fast and unfamiliar. You spend every interaction frantically mentally translating their dialect back into textbook rules. Standard study is essential for expats, but you must plan for an arrival period where you deliberately unlearn the Tokyo melody and recalibrate your ear. To figure out your specific path, let's look at this scenario scorecard. We break it down into the 1-week tourist, the 1-month optimizer, and the long-term expat. If you are a 1-week tourist, skip the textbooks, rely on the English infrastructure, use translation apps, and spend your mental energy on the food. If you're a 1-month optimizer, bypass the heavy grammar. Those few phrases are enough to move past the tourist corridors and start real conversations in the local markets. If you are relocating long-term, build that standard grammar foundation, but pair it immediately with local pitch accent awareness so you aren't blindsided at the grocery store.
Deciding how much Japanese to learn is a choice about which version of the city you want to experience. You just prioritize the specific vocabulary that matches the depth of interaction you want. The problem with prep is that traditional apps exclusively teach broadcast Japanese, leaving you stranded when you step off the train in a regional hub. That is why the Street Tongue app was built. It is a platform designed to teach actual street-level phrases and regional dialects. The Osaka module directly targets the gaps we just covered. It drills you on real-world scenarios, like ordering at a busy kushikatsu stall, and scores your pronunciation against authentic Kansai pitch patterns. To stop sounding like a textbook and start connecting with the city, download the Street Tongue app using the links below.
And if you've ever tried using textbook language in a totally different region, share your most awkward dialect struggles in the comments below.